Welcome you all to the SPCN channel. Today you are joining with me for the purpose to learn the lesson First World War and its aftermath. Don't expect this is the lesson which I am taking from CBSE portion. This isn't the lesson that I am taking from CBSE portion. This is a lesson which I chosen from the Matriculation 10th Standard Social. So I just share many videos with you all on the CBSE question social. So please share with your friends that on those videos. Please suggest about this channel to everyone whom do you know, and please do a subscription and keep like the channel. So I need a support always. Let's get into the lesson. The first lesson of the matriculation syllabus, that is the causes of the First World War and its aftermath. So causes of the First World War, I already shared with you the information when was the First World War, from which year to which year that World War was happened. That I just shared in the previous video itself. Anyway, here also I want to highlight the same point. The First World War was broke out the year between 1914 to 1918. And many causes were beginning the happening of the First World War. Many social causes, many economic causes, many political causes, and many reasons were that began the occurrence of the First World War. Here, aftermath mean what were the effects of the First World War? What were the causes of the First World War? What were the effects of the First World War? And what were the reparative measure of the First World War? All this information only which had given under the lesson of causes of the First World War and its aftermath. So in this lesson, I am not going to explain the whole lesson. I am just going to share only the question answer which had given beginning of the lesson. So both short answer and the detailed answer only I am going to share with you. So the first short answer which is there in that particular lesson is, how do you assess the Sino-Japanese War? How do you assess the Sino-Japanese War? I am going to give you some 2 points or 3 points under each question. That's it. Okay, please join with me. Shall we get into the lesson? Yeah. Shall we get into the question answer? Of course, yeah. First question. How do you assess the importance of Sino-Japanese War? Sino-Japanese War. So at that time many super countries were there. Super countries means some powerful countries were there, some powerless countries were there. Some countries which consisted with more power, which has more power, but some countries were there without have any power. For example, China was a superpower at that time when there was a First World War. And meanwhile, Japan was a powerless country. Japan was a small kingdom. Japan was a small territory. So now we are going to learn under this question how the war was happened between China and Japan. When the war was happened. First point you have to write under this answer. First point, Japan attacked China in 1894. First point. Second point, Japan defeated China and captured Liaotung Peninsula and Port Arthur. Third point, it became the powerful country or kingdom. One more point is there, it's a optional one. One more point, when China defeated by little Japan. No, all the countries are shocked. All the powerful countries shocked because the powerless country defeated the powerful country. In this little kingdom of Japan, how does the little kingdom of Japan defeated the China as a superpower? That kind of thing was there in the mind of all the countries. So Japan attacked China in 1894. Japan defeated China. And second point, and captured Liaotung Peninsula and Port Arthur. Third one, it became the powerful country in Asia. If you want to add one more point, mean all the countries became shocked on the defeat of China. All countries became shocked on the defeat of China. That is one more point you can add on if you want to do it. So otherwise, these 3 points are enough. For this question carry 2 marks. That 2 points are enough. So if you have any doubt, maybe I lost my mark if I write 42 point, mean you just add 1 point, 1 point. You just add or you just do extra 1 point, that's enough. Second question will be, name the countries of triple entente. Second question, name the countries of triple entente. Name the countries of triple entente. The triple entente countries were. The triple entente countries were is nothing. Britain, France, Russia. Britain, France, Russia. What are the triple entente countries? The triple entente countries were Britain, France, Russia. Third question will be, what were the militant forms of nationalism? What were the militant forms of nationalism? You know nationalism. Nationalism means who are all loving their country, that is the pattern is referred as the nationalism. Here militant forms of nationalism mean who are all loves their country, they want to show themselves as a lovable person towards the country with a weapon. Everyone show their nationalism by carrying the weapon. Mahatma Gandhi told, don't carry the weapon, whatever the demand will be for you. But here, everyone shown their patriotism by carrying the weapon. That is what the militant forms of nationalism. Let's see what by the militant forms of nationalism originated. 3 forms of militant nationalism originated. In other ways we can tell what militant forms of nationalism mean, whether my country is right or wrong. Whether my country is right or wrong, I just strongly support my country. Is that whether it's doing good thing or bad thing, whatever it is, but my support will goes to only to the country where I was born. That is what the militant forms of nationalism. 3 militant forms of nationalism were originated. Let's see, first one, England jingoism. England jingoism. France chauvinism. France chauvinism. Third, Germany culture. What were the militant forms of nationalism? You just pointed only 3 things. First one, England jingoism, France chauvinism, and Germany culture. Fourth question will be trench warfare. What do you mean by trench warfare? What do you mean by trench warfare? So trench means it's a pit. It's a pit. We have to dig the land where the military troops will stand. They have to make a. They have to dig the land. There will be form one pit. No, that pit was used by the soldiers to stand there to safeguard themselves from the enemies. To safeguard themselves from the enemies. If they stand on the ground, means it's easy way to attack by the enemies. So in order to protect themselves from the hands of the enemies, they dig the land where they stand to protect themselves. So first thing, soldiers dig the land and used it to stand from the enemy's fire. Enemy's fire or attack. Second point will be all things, even food, even troops, even email, even messages. I just changed to the modern day. Messages, order, everything will pass through the trenches. So here one pit will be there, nearby one pit will be there. All the messages, all the orders, all the troops, all the weapon, everything will pass from one pit to another pit through the trenches. All things had passed through the trenches. So soldiers dig the land and used it to stand from the enemy's fire, to safeguard themselves from the enemy's fire. All things, even food, troops, messages, order, were passed through the trenches. So maybe the word have been changed from a book. I'm not the copy thing. How does the answer is given in a book? I just given the answer. How can write ourselves. I'm not going through word by word how that answer is given in a book. I just wrote this answer in a board, what I understood. So soldiers dig the land and used it to stand to protect from the enemy's fire or attack. All things, even food, troops, messages, order, passed through the trenches. Passed through the trenches. The next question will be what was the role of Mustafa Kamal Basha? What was the role of Mustafa Kamal Basha? First, Mustafa Kamal Pasha played the role for Turkey's rebirth. First point. Mustafa Kamal Pasha played the role for Turkey's rebirth. Second point. He created the modernized Turkey. He created the modernized Turkey. This is I. Don't get confusion. This is I. Modernized Turkey. Mustafa Kamal Pasha played the role for Turkey's rebirth. He created the modernized Turkey. The last short answer, which is begin the first lesson of matriculation syllabus, is mention any two causes for the failure of League of Nations. Write any two causes for the failure of League of Nations. First one. League of Nations became the organization of victorious countries. First point. League of Nations became the organization of victorious countries. Actually, if any war was broke out, one camp should winner, another camp should be a loser. Am I right or wrong? Yes. So, who are the victorious country in the first World War? No. This League of Nations became the organization for the victorious country. What was the demand of the victorious country? No, that only fulfill in the League of Nations. That was the first reason for the failure of League of Nations. Let me to write in a board what I recite with you. It became the organization of victorious countries. Then, second one, there was no collective security. There was no collective security. What is collective security? Actually, if any organization was there, that organization doesn't have any particular member. It consists of more member. So, if they want to make any change, they have to get the consent of all the members of the concerned organization. But here, there was no collective security. They didn't discuss anything. Any particular person or any two person or any three person, they only take a decision on the demand of the people or on the demand of the victorious countries. So there was no collective security. Third one, lack of military. How all the countries maintain its own military, just like that, League of Nations also has to maintain one military, but they didn't have the military power, strong military power. The lack of military also one of the causes for the failure of League of Nations. Any two causes are enough. For each and every question, 2 points are enough. Third one is an optional one. It's depending upon you. If you want to do it. If you don't want to do it, just leave it. So it became the organization of victorious countries. There was no country security and lack of military. These were the 3 causes for the failure of the League of Nations. And 2 are enough if this question asked in your exam. Next thing will be detail answer. First detail. What were the causes of the First World War? Detail. What were the causes of First World War? First point you should write under that in 1900. In 1900, World was divided into two camps. Two camps or two powers. 1900, world divided into two camp or powers. Okay. Second point will be triple ended. Triple ended countries were formed with Britain, France, Russia. Then triple ended power originated. Then Triple Alliance. Triple Alliance was formed in 1882 under Bismarck. Under Bismarck with the countries of Germany, Austria, Hungary and Italy. This was an introduction. So what were the causes of the First World War? In 1900, world divided into two camps or power, triple ended. You have to make a side button, you have to make this as a side heading and write this under the side heading. Then this also you have to make a side heading and under this you have to write this explanation. So triple ended countries formed with Britain, France, Russia. Triple alliance was formed in 1882 under Bismarck with the countries of Germany, Austria, Hungary and Italy. And second point will be, no, here we are having some 2 point. Write as a side heading, first side heading, second side heading. Third side heading will be militant forms of nationalism. Militant forms of nationalism. So you have to write the answer. We studied one short answer under the short answer. We studied one short answer. No, like England jingoism, France chauvinism, Germany culture. No, the same thing you have to point out here. You have to make the side heading militant forms of nationalism and write that all the three division under the side heading. Next one. Hostility between Germany first point you have to write under this, Germany and France were the old rivals. Germany and France were the old rivals. France captured the places of Germany. France captured the places of Germany like Alsace and Lorraine. Alsace and Lorraine were the places of Germany which captured by France. Alsace and Lorraine were the places of Germany or were the territories of Germany that occupied by France. So this was the reason for the problem between Germany and France. So Germany and France were the old rivals. Alsace and Lorraine were the territories of Germany that places were captured by France. That was the reason that hostility was continued. So hostility means enmity. Hostility means enmity. The next one will be. Next side reading 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Aggressive attitude of German Emperor. Aggressive attitude of German Emperor. German Emperor was Kaiser Wilhelm II. Kaiser Wilhelm II. So first point you have to write under the second. Kaiser Wilhelm was German Emperor. And he proclaimed himself as the Emperor of the world. Actually, he should be an emperor for the Germany only, no. But he proclaimed, he stated that I am the emperor of the world. So, second point will be he proclaimed himself as an emperor of the world. Third point, he strengthened the naval station. He strengthened the naval stations. He strengthened the naval station. So, Britain thought Germany would attack us. Actually, German emperor who strengthened the naval stations of Germany, no? Britain thought maybe they are strengthening the naval station for the reason to attack us. They are going to attack Britain. For that reason only they strengthened the naval station. That kind of thing was there in the mind of the Britain. That kind of point was there in the mind of the Britain. Next point will be sixth one. Balkan Wars. First, Balkan League. Balkan League was started by Greece, Montenegro, started the Balkan League. Greece, Montenegro started the Balkan League. 1912. Greece, Montenegro started the Balkan League 1912. And two more countries will be there. Like Greece, Montenegro started Balkan League in 1912. They attacked. Second point, first point. Second point, they attacked Turkey. They attacked the Turkey. They attacked Turkey and it was defeated. It was defeated. Third point, First Balkan War. Actually, two Balkan War was conducted, but both the Balkan War was conducted between the Balkan League and Turkey. First Balkan War was ended with the Treaty of London. First Balkan War was ended with the Treaty of London. Fourth, Second Balkan War also conducted between them only. So Second Balkan War was ended with the Treaty of Bucharest. Bucharest. So Greece, Montenegro, Serbia, Bulgaria, who started the Balkan League in 1912, they attacked the Turkey and it was defeated. Turkey was defeated. First Balkan War was ended with the Treaty of London. Second Balkan War was also conducted between themselves. Second Balkan War was ended with the Treaty of Bucharest. Is that next side reading? Next one will be seventh one, immediate cause. Under the immediate cause, Archduke Franz Ferdinand. Archduke Franz Ferdinand. So Archduke Franz Ferdinand, who was a Prince of Austria. First point, Archduke Franz Ferdinand, who was a Prince of Austria. Second point, he visited to Bosnia. Third, he was killed by a Bosnian Serb. So he was killed by a Bosnian Serb. Archduke Franz Ferdinand was a Prince of Austria. He visited to Bosnia. He was killed by a Bosnian Serb. Bosnian Serb means Bosnian citizen. So citizen means a person belongs to the concerned country or particular country. No. So a citizen of Bosnia who killed over Archduke Franz Ferdinand. So this was an immediate cause of the First World War. Many reasons were happening, that began the happening of the First World War. The most important reason was Archduke Franz Ferdinand, who was killed by a Bosnian Serb in Bosnia. This was the immediate cause for the which led to the broke out of First World War. So these are the information only we have provided under the cause of the First World War. So you have to write about Triple Alliance and Triple Enden. I will write a heading. Triple Alliance, Triple Enden, hostility between France and Germany, militant forms of nationalism. Then fifth one, what I said, attitude of German Emperor. 3, 4, 5, sixth one. Sixth one Balkan was, and the last one immediate cause. So these 7 sight reading with an explanation you should do. This question may ask under 5 mark or may ask under 8 mark. So if it is asked under 8 mark, you have to write these points are enough. So if it is asked under only for 5 marks, you can reduce and do. But make a sight reading and write minimum 2 points under each if it will be under 5 mark question. Second detail will be, what are the provisions of Treaty of Versailles? What were the provisions of Treaty of Versailles? First one, Germany found guilty. Germany found guilty and war indemnity, imposed. Second point, German army was reduced into 1 lakh soldiers. Third one, the Union of Austria-Hungary was forbidden. Fourth one, German territories were undertaken by the League of Nations. Fifth one, Alsace and Lorraine was returned to France. Sixth one, Rhineland was demilitarized. Seventh one, the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. The Treaty of Brest-Litovsk and Bucharest revoked or revived. Eighth point, Poland was recreated. Actually, for this answer, if it asks under 5 mark mean 5 points are enough. If it asks under 8 mark mean 8 points are enough. But in your book, you are having some 10 point, which are the easiest point you are having in your book, no, that you just select and do in your exam paper. So, Germany found guilty in war indemnity most. German army was reduced into 1 lakh soldiers. Union of Austria-Hungary was forbidden. German territories were undertaken by the League of Nations. Alsace and Lorraine was returned to France. Rhineland was demilitarized. The Treaty of Brest-Litovsk and Bucharest revoked. And one more point will be ninth one. Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania, were independent. Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania were independent. Germany found guilty and war indemnity most. German army was reduced into 1 lakh soldiers. The Union of Austria-Hungary was forbidden. German territories were undertaken by the League of Nations. Alsace and Lorraine was returned to France. Rhineland was demilitarized. The Treaty of Brest-Litovsk and Bucharest revoked. Poland was recreated. Latvia, Estonia, Lithuania were independent. Were became independent. So these are the information you should provide under the what were the provisions of Treaty of Versailles. So 2 detail we done. 2 more details are there beginning of the first lesson. That 2 more detail we will look forward in the next lesson. Please keep your support.